What's going on, friends? Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys following along my tire journey as Kyle the Tire Guy. Today we're taking a look at a brand new Mitas tire that just landed on my front doorstep this last week, and I am so freaking excited about it. Ugh. What's the biggest thing we run into? The biggest problem we run into, especially on tubeless adventure motorcycle wheels. Well, the rims get dinged, they get out of shape, and they leak air. And then we end up putting tubes in them, like I've done here on the 1190. Or they just crack and break and you have to buy new rims. Same thing happens on an old traditional rim as well, like the heavy duty rims that are skinnier and narrower, and they're way more robust. But what happens is, because of the shorter sidewall that we have here on a lot of the 90-90-21s, we're getting a lot more rim contact than we would like. Mitas is the first one out there to create a unicorn front tire. What I mean by that is they have taken a lot of the requests that you guys have given, and they've given us a 90-100-21 tubeless. They're the only ones that offer a tubeless version. Now, Mitas has two different 90-100-21s. They have it in the Enduro ST, which I recommend for a lot of you guys on smaller bikes, like the 400s, 500s, things of that nature. Amazing tire. And then they have one in the Desert HT, which is robust enough for our big bikes, and I recommend that for you guys on the big bikes all the time. But it's a tube type version tire only. Now, what this Mitas Enduro XT Plus is going to give us in that 90-100-21, it's going to give us a tubeless tire that is going to have ultimate rim protection. So let's talk about that real quick. According to the manufacturer, we're going to have 90 millimeters across. It's going to be basically the same width. I've measured these and it's just over 100 side to side. So the difference in these two tires right here is we have a 90-90-21 and we have a 90-100-21. Now that second number, the 90 on this one and the 100 on this one, is going to be the aspect ratio. That's going to mean that the sidewall is that second number percentage of the width number. So in this case, we're going to have 90 millimeters across, and then we're going to have 100% of that in the sidewall. Over here, we got 90 millimeters across, but we're going to have 90% of that in the sidewall thickness. So the sidewall of this tire, when I set these two tires up to each other side by side, we're getting almost a 1/2 inch difference in height between the two. Now, the width is the same, measuring on both of these tires, but what that extra height is going to do is it's going to allow more sidewall here, so when you're hitting rocks and things of that nature, you have more cushion between that rock and your rim. It's a really neat thing, and I'm super stoked that Mitas has bit the bullet and done it. I mean, you guys have been asking for a wider tire for a long time, and they haven't provided that. But what they have provided is, when this tire is aired down, because that sidewall is taller, when that squish happens, you're gonna get a significantly wider footprint on this tire than you're getting out of that 90-90-21. You can kind of see it. If I push down here, you're gonna see that flex that happens, and you're gonna have more contact patch with the ground in an aired down state. Quite the rock garden we're going through right here. Lots of little crushed up rocks and pebbles and sand underneath each of these rocks. Making traction a little bit interesting. Uh-oh, we got our first tip over. Again, hitting rocks is a huge thing. Pinch flats definitely happen on tube type applications, and this tire can be run tube type or it can be run tubeless. But the biggest problem that most of us are having on the tubeless setup is the fact that we're dinging our rims and just jacking things up. The Touareg is notorious for having super soft rims. The KTM is notorious for having super soft rims. And you guys, instead of having to upgrade your rims, you can just upgrade to this tire and be dialed. Now this here in my hand is the yellow stripe or the Dakar version. So this tire is going to have a 15% more robust construction. The actual carcass of the tire is more stiff and more solid, and the sidewall is going to be stiffer and going to be more puncture resistant than that of the standard XT Plus, which I have right over here on the 390. So I've run the Dakar version, I've run the standard version, and now I'm running on this bike over here what's called a Rally Pro tire. So this Rally Pro tire has a much softer, more flexible lug. I chose that for my winter riding here in California because it really is grippy and sticky to the ground. Wet weather, this thing doesn't slide out at all. I really, really enjoy the confidence that I get from that Rally Pro on wet weather. It also does a great job in rocks and in sand and things of that nature because these lugs like to manipulate themselves around those objects just a little bit better. Now for general overall riding, the non-Dakar standard XT Plus is my go-to tire. It functions great on the highway, functions great in the twisties, and it has great longevity. Again, if you flip these tires, these are non-directional, so you can flip them. So as soon as we start to see trailing edge wear, we're gonna flip this tire around and we're gonna extend our mileage on these things huge. We're gonna get close to 6, 8, even 10,000 miles out of these tires if we're very diligent about flipping the tire. If you're not gonna flip it, you can average about 4,000 miles out of a front before that trailing edge wear gets bad enough that you're really not having great road manners or off-road traction when hitting the brakes. Now when it comes to mileage differences, I personally haven't seen a huge difference in mileage when running the Dakar versus the non-Dakar. I thought that I was going to get significantly more mileage out of the Dakar just because it's more robust, doesn't flex as much, therefore there shouldn't be as much heat buildup on the Dakar. Within 1,000 miles or so is when my Dakar tire ran out as compared to my non-Dakar. Now that could be a function of lots of different things. Did I run one at slightly more pressure than the other? Was it hotter outside in the summer than it was in the fall when I was running the opposite tire? Did I do more sand riding instead of rock riding? There's so many things that go into why our tires wear out faster than another. But within 1,000 miles, I'm gonna say they're pretty even as far as wear goes and mileage. Now on this Rally Pro that I have over here, I've got just about 1,000 miles on that one right now. And you can see that I'm starting just barely to get some trailing edge wear on here. So I'll probably run that another 1,000 miles or so before I decide to flip it. I've got it down to within about a half hour so I can get the wheel off the bike, the tire flipped, and back on the machine. And for me to get thousands and thousands of extra miles out of the tire, that 30 minutes per flip really is not that big of a deal. But yeah, super stoked. 90, 121, more sidewall material, air down, you're gonna get a bigger, fatter, flatter footprint, and we have the same exact tread pattern as we have on all of the other XT Plus front tires. Phenomenal front tire. This thing's amazing. So when I put this tire on the bike, I was coming off of the Dunlop Trail Max Raid tire, which is a great tire, but it is not as good in the sand. It liked to lose itself just a little bit. So my first time riding these tires on the same exact trail the weekend before that I had those raids on, I was going into corners thinking that I was going to lose the front end like I did on the raid, and man, these things were just rock solid. You get over on the side and just rail. What we're having here is at the edge of each of these open spots here across the tread pattern, we have a side lug here that just really bites and grabs and allows that media to catch here, and that's really keeping these tires just planted as you're going through the corner. Really great design, Mitas. I'm really happy that you guys did this. These are my new favorite front tire. Anyway, I'm Kyle Bradshaw. If you have any questions about these Mitas front tires, please leave a comment down below. If you guys, we're getting to the new year here, if you guys have any questions on tires that you would like to see talked about, please leave a comment down below or reach out to me on Instagram or any of the other YouTube comments. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And of course, you can always go to manybikes.biz. That's where you will find all of these tires for sale. I ship for free here within the USA. You guys get a little bit of discount, 10% on all the Mitas tires, actually. And there's other products on the website, like my wild ass seat cushions. These things are game changers, lifesavers. I love it, and it allows me to put major miles down on the highway. I'm Kyle Bradshaw. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, take care and ride safe out there.